Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Enterprise, Season 2, Episode 12, The Catwalk. So, realistically, this is not a bad episode, to be honest with you. Like, it's not great, it's not bad. For Enterprise, it's pretty par. So, I'm going to take a step back before I really get into this, because somebody had commented on one of my videos, and they kind of brought up a good point, that clearly I am not liking Enterprise. Like, I am struggling really hard with getting through this series. And that's kind of, like, making me give jaded opinions for each episode. And on top of that, because I'm watching these so quickly, rather than once a week, like when they aired, it's also a little bit more difficult, because I could watch, like, 4 episodes all at the same time in one sitting, and they were all terrible. And so, for an episode like this, I'm trying to step back, and I'm like, how is this episode? Now, one of the reasons I think I'm struggling with this series is the characters. Like, I'm just not feeling a connection to a single one of them. For me, at least, personally. I mean, we're halfway through Season 2. Like, at this point in The Next Generation, I loved every single character. I mean, at this point, like, Dr. Polanski would have been in there, and so I would have missed Crusher, but I still would have, like, enjoyed her episodes, especially, like, bouncing off of Data. I didn't like her, like, if you guys watched those reviews I did, but still, it was an interesting discussion. Or for Voyager, for Deep Space Nine, I felt connected to all of these characters. For Enterprise, like, I know their names. I know there's Hoshi and T'Pol and Mayweather and Trip and Malcolm. And, like, I know who they all are. I just don't care about them. Like, there's no emotional connection for me. So, like I said, halfway through Season 2 of Deep Space Nine, let's say Kira, boom, died, written out of the show. I would have been devastated. Like, I would have been freaked out. What is this? Like I did with Dr. Crusher. We lost her at the end of the first season, and I was pissed. It made some of the dislike I have for Dr. Polanski. Or even Voyager. Like, granted, it was when we got to Kes, but, like, if you pick any character, it would have changed the show. Just like in The Next Generation, when they killed Tasha Yar. It was an emotional impact. If any character in this show left in the next episode, I would not give a fuck. Like, I would have just been like, bye. Like, it would not have changed my opinion at all. And so, I don't know, that's, I think, what I'm struggling to get through this series, is it's so hard because I don't care about these characters. In this episode, The Catwalk, if you take the plot for this episode and you stuck it in any other show, I think it would have been great. It would have been a really interesting bottle episode. The whole premise is the Enterprise can only go warp 5, and a storm is coming going warp 7. Ooh. And they can't outrun it, and it's going to kill everybody on board. And the only safe place is the Catwalk, which is like this strip that's inside, like, the nacelles, kind of. And, like, that's the only place. So they all need to live in there for 8 days. And, like, when they're describing it, they're like, it's going to be really tight, but we could fit 90 people in there between the two of them. And then when it finally goes in there, you're like, dude, like, that is so open. Like, you're expecting, like a ship or something, like an actual ship on the water where it's cramped and disgusting and everybody's just having a terrible time. No, I mean, they're cooking food, they are walking around, Dr. Phlox brings all of his animals. Like, it's like, that doesn't really seem that bad. I mean, it might not be ideal, but it doesn't seem that bad. And then, so, like, that's all kind of interesting. And then once you get to the twist where these 3 aliens have come on board, and then it turns out that a bunch of them are on the ship, like, every second after Trip left the Catwalk, like, you can almost make, like, a line graph of seconds he's out and my interest going down, where it's just like, okay, so there's other aliens on board that are immune now, and now, like, Archer has to chicken his way out, making them leave, which is something we saw in, like, Voyager, where it's like, aim for the star and stuff like that. And I just slowly lost more and more interest by the time I got to the end of the episode. And I'm just like, thank God this is over. But I don't know, like, it's like, if you took the same premise and you were like, okay, everybody on the Enterprise D or anybody on Voyager has to be in, like, engineering or in the holodeck or something like that. It's cramped and it's miserable. Like, it would have been a really interesting premise. For whatever reason, this show, I just can't do it. Like, it's not a bad episode, but I just don't care about the actors, and I just didn't care about the plot. It's just kind of blah. So for those who have seen this one, I mean, I already know I'm judging the show really harshly, but what did you think about this one? What do you guys think about Enterprise compared to all of the other Trek series? Go ahead, let me know. The only interesting thing about this one is this is the most that we've ever seen Chef, and it's kind of from the chest down, because that's kind of the ongoing joke, is we never actually see who he is. So, for those who have seen it, what did you think? Go ahead, let me know, and I will see you guys next time for Dawn.